This week on the Brody and Mo In-Law Show.
Is Kevin Sumlin going to get fired before Sean Miller does?
I am so happy that you asked this. My question to you is, have you been working on your dad jokes?
Redneck Capote was selling pubs too, right?
Yeah, right. Why does my daughter always pick up the movie Hitch we have on DVD? She looks at Will Smith and calls him Dada.
Welcome to the Brody and Mo In-Law Show, where we commiserate about Arizona sports, collaborate on what it means to be dads of daughters, and conversate about the pressing matters of today. Now, Brody, ostensibly, this is a lighthearted podcast about sports and dad life and whatever else, but I feel obligated to at least address this singular global event that has, in an unprecedented way, affected not just Arizonans and Americans, but really the whole world. And I think we're all kind of struggling a bit to understand and process what we're seeing. And so we just need to talk about it here.
Okay.
So let's talk about Tiger King. Brody, what in the world did you make me watch?
The greatest cinematic event is what I made you watch. So how about, let's do this, Mo, since I watched it before you, why don't you give me your thoughts first? And then I've got some things I want to say.
I still don't think it was real.
You think it's all set up?
I still think if I flew down to wherever backwater, whatever place this Tiger Ranch is, I don't think it's there. I don't think it's real. I don't think Joe Exotic is a real person. I don't think that whatever that other guy who came and bought it is. I definitely don't think that the guy who has like the Philip Seymour Hoffman thing going on.
Yes.
He's not real. He's not a real person. Carol Baskin might be real. She might be a real person.
Your conspiracy theorist is coming out hard in the first episode here.
But is that any more ridiculous proposition than the reality that those people are real?
No, I guess
those lives actually transpired the way that they did. What, like?
Yeah,
I'm at a loss.
But
this,
dude, I know some really, really good storytellers in my life, and there is nobody that can come up with that. It has to be real, dude. It has to be. It has to be a real thing. Now, is it dramatized? And is Joe Exotic a little more exotic than he really is? Maybe, I don't know. But he's got to be real. He's got to be real. Like, you can't, dude. You're a really creative person, and you can't create a character like that. No way.
No, and the reason being is if I pitched that to anyone, if I went to a movie, like a movie executive, and I said, look, here's my story, and I pitched the story of Joe Exotic and all those other people, they would say, you've got to pick a storyline and you've got to stick to it. You're getting wild right out the gate in episode 1.
Right.
Nobody really talks like this. Nobody really does these things. Your story is disjointed. You got to go. You got to rework it from the beginning. It's not real. It's not believable.
We needed an event right now in our world and in our culture, and it provided a perfect outlet. Netflix, I am going to give you a big applause, Netflix, for what you did and what you provided the world. I've got a few theories. So everybody thinks Carol Baskin killed her husband, right? Like, that's been the talk of the town.
Whoa, do you not?
No, I do. But my story is, as soon as, what was it, episode 2, that she said that she had allegations against her, or whatever episode it was, it ended with, that she was like, people were saying that I put him in a meat grinder, and that's just simply not true. As soon as she said that, I looked at Chelsea, I was like, I don't know where this story is going, but I know one thing is a fact. She definitely killed her husband, and he is never going to be found, whatever she did with him, because she's smart enough to be able to figure that out. There's never going to be a way they're going to be able to prove it. Either she fed him to the tigers, or dumped him off in the ocean somewhere, or chopped him up in a meat grinder. But he's gone, dude. Like, he's gone.
Yes. The reason she knows it wouldn't work to put him in a meat grinder is she tried that first.
So like she's got a leg through or something.
Yes, and it was so much work that she just decided, you know what? I own 50 tigers.
Just throw them over the fence.
I think if I just toss him up there, the tigers will do the rest.
That's true.
Like, this is James Bond-esque getting rid of the body.
Right. Yeah. Like just to feed them to the tigers and let nature do its thing. Right. Like, yeah, I think that that's one thing. Number two theory that I have about this is there is not nearly enough people talking about Carol Baskin's current husband. Okay. That is a weird dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird dude.
A weird dude.
Like, and they never talk about him. And I want to know more. I want to know more about him. Like, not that saying that he's a bad guy or whatever, but he's weird.
Did he kill the husband? Is he involved in it somehow?
See, I think he's a lawyer too. I think he is because he knows all the lingo. So did she marry him for being a lawyer because she needed one?
Maybe.
See, we're opening up Pandora's box here on Carol Baskins.
I think that secretly, and something that was not captured in this documentary but absolutely exists, is I think Carol and Joe actually had a thing for each other.
Wow.
I think there was a romantic connection between those two, and this was all an exacerbated on meth, not steroids, on meth lovers quarrel.
We're looking at steroids way in the rearview mirror on Tiger King right now. Like,
that's a white collar compared to what we're looking at now.
What? Dude, I can't handle you right now. Like, I can't even look at you because that's no way. There's no really? That's your conspiracy.
Look at all the stuff they have in like how many people in the world own exotic animals?
Yeah. Love
like cats. Like Joe ostensibly loves his animals, his tigers, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Who is the most cat tiger like human in the world? Carol Baskin.
It's gotta be her, yeah.
Who does Joe Exotic love more than anybody? Himself. Who's Carol Baskin obsessed with? Joe Exotic. Ergo, Joe also has to, by definition, love Carol Baskin.
Wow. That's an interesting take. That is not one I had thought about. That's good theory, man. It's hard to argue with her. And so she had to go get a lawyer husband to figure out a way to put him in jail because it was too much.
Or she killed her husband, her first husband, in order to get with Joe. And then when Joe spurned her advances, she ended up turning on him, getting a lawyer husband in order to get him put in jail.
That's the way to do it. I think he did illegally sell pups, to be honest with you, cubs. I think he probably got busted for that, but I think she did too. You know, she just played the martyr and you know, like she just is like, oh, hey, you cool cats and kittens, and I'm going to be fluffy and funny. And meanwhile, like, you know, 20 years ago, I sold illegal cubs to everybody at, you know, $2,000, $5,000 a pop or whatever it is. Like,
oh, yeah. Redneck Capote was selling pups too, right?
Yeah, right. Yes, he was too. Everybody's involved in this cub scheme. My third thing that I got to talk about with this has to do with more of the reaction that I'm getting from people. You know, you troll the Twitterverse and all that stuff, and people are like, "Can you believe that there's actually people out there that are like this?" And there's people out there that are like this, and it's true. Like, who would have thought that there would be a Joe Exotic character in the world? But my other thing is that there are people that are saying, "Can you believe there's people out there?" And it's them. They're the people out there. Like, it's you, dude, that we're talking about here. What are you talking about? Can you believe there's people? I'm looking at one right now. One of those shows that you have to watch. You can't not watch it. Like, you have to watch this.
If you haven't watched Tiger King yet on Netflix and you're at home quarantined due to COVID-19, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Tweet at us so you can tell us what you're doing, because I need to know that's something that's more important than the Tiger King right now. You have to go watch it, especially with nothing else, you know, everything else pretty much shut down. I could see like you're watching sports or you're doing something else, but you have to watch this show. There's no other way.
Man, do you remember sports? You remember what sports are like, Brody?
Vaguely. I have a vague recollection of is it spurts or spurts? It's been so long. I feel like the meme, it's been 84 years since Rose saw Jack. That's me missing sports right now.
That's how it feels, man. And as much as we like to talk about being miserable over Arizona sports, which is easy to do and really is one of the impetuses of this entire podcast, is how simple it is to commiserate over Arizona sports. Man, I miss it.
That's true.
I miss being able to turn on something that's like a real unknown human drama, which is why I loved Tiger King, I guess. Like, I had no idea where that was going, but now it's over, and I just want someone to throw a sphere as hard as they can at another human and have that human try to hit it with a stick.
That's all we've ever wanted.
The only big cats you and I have any access to are the kind that live in McHale Center and Tucson, Arizona in general. And that's our beloved Wildcats.
The beloved Wildcats. The one thing of many of the things, but one thing that you and I have a very, very good bond over is our passion for the University of Arizona Wildcats, which is very interesting because, you know, you live in a part of the world that is not Wildcat country, and I live in a part of the world that is not Wildcat country, but yet we're still Wildcats. So like I don't know about you, but I hear a lot of, you know, sportscasters talking about ASU, you know, and certainly the major sports, but not much about U of A. So where I live.
Yeah, you know, up here in Flagstaff where I am, I would love to hear any sportscaster. I would love to see, well, I don't see any people anymore. None of us see humans. There's no human interaction. I would love to hear on the radio someone say sports. Next is sports coming up. I mean, I've got Mitch Stroman, I guess.
Mitch, tip of the cap.
if you want to come on the podcast, Mitch, hit me up. We're happy to have you here. You're the only person who even remotely cares about sports in this city,
Mitch.
But yeah, I mean, it's a desert here,
man. I feel for you. But so this quarantine of no sports is just a Tuesday for you at this point.
Essentially, yeah.
I mean, like, this is just another day. Like, what do you mean you miss sports? You haven't had sports in like 10 years up there, dude.
Flagstaff's never had sports.
It's like every time I go there, somebody tries to start a sports bar and they just cannot make it happen, dude. It just doesn't work.
Nope.
It doesn't work in Flagstaff.
Unless your name's Buffalo Wild Wings, which kind of counts as a sports bar, I guess.
Well, yeah. See, like, I live right by, you know, a spring training field, so we got sports bars around town, and there's always one around. So I can't really relate. It's like, yeah, go to the bar and watch sports, but now obviously nobody's going to the bar and watching sports.
No,
or going to.
So we gotta make our own sports then. Let's make our own. Sports. Here.
Boom.
Are you ready?
Sports. Yes.
Are you ready? Let's start with this.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Brody, is Kevin Sumlin going to get fired before Sean Miller does?
I am so happy that you asked this, and no, Kevin Sumlin's going to get fired first. Here's why.
So yes. So the answer is yes. So okay,
is Kevin Sumlin going first? Yes, that's what I'm going for. Sorry, I don't understand questions. I'd more do better with true false, actually, to be honest with you. So don't re-ask it.
Kevin Sumlin, bad, true, false.
I'm going to go with true on that one. And I think he's going to get fired first. I really do. And here's, man, this is a tough one. Sean Miller's obviously got some rap against him, and he's had some rough goes of it, but the man still is a top tier coach in NCAA. Okay. Any program would be lucky to have him, I think, in terms of winning percentage. He still obviously by track record can recruit. I mean, that I think is pretty well documented. I don't know at this point. Sean Miller hasn't shown me he's going to be able to win the big game. I don't know if I can. I don't know. I think I question some of his in-game strategies and who's getting the ball in situations and timeouts are used and some of those things I question. Kevin Sumlin, the whole football program is really in bad shape, dude.
Yes.
Like top to bottom. And I will be the first to say I was so excited when they hired Kevin Sumlin. Dude, I was thrilled. Like, here's a guy who went into Tuscaloosa and beat an Alabama team, which has happened twice since Nick Saban, 3 times since Nick Saban's taken over. So like, I mean, and A&M fired him after he won 9 games. You win 9 games at Arizona, we will name the freaking stadium after you.
You've got a statue built, yep.
And I'm like, this guy, I mean, he's got ties to Texas. He has ties here to Arizona. He can recruit. He's got all of these assets. He's younger. Like, we got it. We got the guy. Like, I was so excited. And ASU hires Herm Edwards, and I'm like, okay, I got to give a tip of the hat to Herm. I think he's a great person. And I mean, obviously has that, but he's 2,000 years old. Like, where's the longevity of it, right? Like, I was thinking of that, and man, I think I have to be the first to admit, I think I might have been wrong on that, because someone is getting no recruits in. I mean, I haven't seen anything. This year is going to be his guys, right? This is his guys' year. So I give you a pass for the first year. I give you a somewhat pass for the second year on new coaches, because you're not playing with your guys in your system. But by year 3, those are your guys. And I went to a game for the first time actually in Arizona Stadium last year, and I picked the worst game.
You went to Utah, right?
I went to the Utah game, which was, oh my God, Utah was so good and Arizona was not. But just the life of the stadium is just not there. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if Tucson's excited about him anymore, which is really, disappointing. But I don't know. So I think Sumlin goes first, and I think he would have been gone last year had they been able to come up with the money.
Yep.
To buy him out.
Yep.
I don't think they had the money, because they were going to have to pay him gobs of change to get rid of him early. So you got to keep him another year. And I don't think Sumlin wants to be here. In his defense, I don't think he wants to be here. It just
That's
doesn't
an
look
interesting
like...
take. I wouldn't have come to that conclusion, because I don't know where else Sumlin lands unless it's at a lower division program. Like, for Sumlin to fall into the lap of a D1 school in the Pac-12 that has no expectations, that's a pretty sweet gig for him. Like, he was broadcasting before he came here.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
Like, his body language does not say he wants to be here. So that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that before.
I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm used to the Stoops and the Rich Rods of the world, who just blow a head gasket at every little leaving corner that they can. And someone's, more cool, calm, and collective, which is probably a good thing, I think. But there's times to get excited and amp up your team, and there's times to be mad. And I just haven't. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope both of them, go on and coach forever and have great success, obviously, as a U of A fan. And I think that they're good people, but like, I'm seeing the track record, and I'm just not seeing where is Sumlin. He's not recruiting well. He can't recruit Arizona very well. If he loses to ASU this year, it's out. It's gone. I think you can go, you can win one game this year as long as you beat ASU. He may save his job.
So is that the linchpin for him? So let's say Arizona goes 8-5 and loses to ASU. There's no way he's losing his job, right?
Probably not. Yeah, he's probably going to a bowl game. But
even 7-6. I think Kevin Sumlin probably keeps his job. But all that said, I agree with literally everything you said about that. Like, Kevin Sumlin's going first. It's not going to be Sean Miller. I thought Herm Edwards was the dumbest possible hire in the world. I was so excited when they hired Herm Edwards, because I thought he was a dolt. The guy has turned out to be better. Like, he's put better staff around him. He's recruited better. He's got better fan buy-in. He's got better community buy-in. He's taken his team to 2 bowl games. He's just a better coach. And I hate to have to admit that. The guy's like a walking corporate billboard, and he's a better coach.
But he's better. he is a better
flat out
coach.
Better.
And so I think this is the linchpin year. This is year 3 for both of them, isn't it? They got hired the same year. So these are going to be their guys, both of them. This is who they recruited. This is the direction of your program. Are you going to win football games?
I think bowl game keeps his job. I think you lose to ASU and you don't make a bowl game, you've really got to look at getting rid of the guy.
Yeah. I think if he loses to ASU and doesn't go to a bowl game, I don't think there's a question. I think he's got to go. But I don't want to go to a crappy bowl either. Like, I want
to go to any bowl at this point.
I mean, that's true.
I want to go to the New Mexico Bowl again. I want Matt Scott to throw 2 touchdowns in the last 40 seconds and beat Nevada? Yeah, remember they were rolling the credits for player of the game for Nevada, and Matt Scott was like, well, the game's not over yet, guys. let me just quickly go here and beat you in the last 45 seconds.
That was a good day. I do remember that. That was a very good day. But let me rephrase. I'll take any sport, football right now of any kind, because we haven't had anything in a while. But I think he needs to go to at least a bowl game. I guess that's true. That's probably lofty expectations of me to be thinking of a bigger bowl. But like, I'm wary if he doesn't beat ASU and you go to the New Mexico Bowl, is that enough? Is that enough for the Arizona sports fan? Arizona sports thing. I don't think it is. They're thinking, higher up.
So when you look at this schedule too for Arizona, to make a bowl game, you got to win 6. Are there 6 wins on this schedule? Knowing what we know about what that roster looked like last year, plus what their very, very weak recruiting class looks like this year. We've got Hawaii at home, lost to Hawaii last year on the road. You probably put that as a win. Like, you probably say we can beat Hawaii at home. I don't know. Hawaii's a decent lower division football program at this point.
I don't think we beat them.
Okay, so let's put a loss on the board right there. Hawaii's number 1, Portland State's 2nd. Yes, that's a win. And then right out of the gate, right out of the bat, we're looking Pac-12. Stanford at home. You're not going to beat Stanford ever again.
I don't think so. So you're looking at 1-3 to start, and then I'm showing Texas Tech.
On the road. Not
road.
going to win that game.
I think that's a loss. So you're looking at 1-4 to start the season. That's a tough road to hoe, dude. Right off the bat.
UCLA on the road, I don't like that at all.
That seems like a catch-22 game, because I think it's a winnable game. You got Colorado on the road or at home.
New coach breaking in at Colorado.
I could say that would a win. We'll give them a win at home. It's probably going to be parents' weekend, family weekend, maybe.
Okay, so we're looking at 3 and 3 right now.
You thinking 3 and 3 right now through 6?
Right now we're 3 and 3 through 6. If we're going Portland State, UCLA, and Colorado, we're winning. I think they beat Hawaii, and I think they lose to UCLA. So either way, we're looking 3 and 3.
Okay, all right. We can do like a lunch bet on that one, beer bet on that one.
So now the next 4 games are USC, Washington, Oregon, Utah. There's not a win in there.
I'm looking USC at home, Washington on the road, Oregon at home, Utah on the road. I think they're all losses. Was there a winnable game there?
No.
You don't think they can pull USC off at home? That's probably going to be homecoming.
No way. There's not enough games left to win to go to a bowl game.
Oregon State on the road, ASU at home.
5 and 7 is your best case scenario for this team.
I don't think he has a job next year at 5 and 7, even beating ASU. I don't think so.
And I don't think he should.
There's a thing. I believe in wins, and I believe not in moral victories. I want to see, are they even competitive in the games? Mm-hmm. It feels like it's been a while since we've even been in a game. I feel like that with, up until recently with the Suns. Like last year, the Suns, it seems like they'd been forever since they were even in a game. Or really the Cardinals. You could talk about the Cardinals, except for last year under the Steve Wilkes regime. Like, when were they ever in a game? And I want to see Arizona, like, can you at least, pull within 7?
Yeah, put up a fight. Make it close in the fourth quarter.
I don't want it to be 49-10. Like, at least make us want to watch. That's what we're really rooting for here, is just make us want to watch.
This is how bad Arizona sports are, is that in a year when all sports get cut for a global pandemic, I'm still mentally prepared to turn off Arizona football games because of how bad that team is.
I'm in the exact same boat, and this is I love college football. I love opening weekend of college football. I think it's great, even as an Arizona fan, just as a fan of the sport. And this is like the year that I am like the least excited for U of A's opening weekend, which is sad, which makes me upset to even say as a fan. Am I going to watch it? Yes, because I'm a fan. But like, it's really like, oh my God, we're going to get steamrolled this year. Like, that's why I think someone just is going to have to end up going somewhere else. I don't know where, but I think his name's got to be on the seat. But the problem is, let's think long term. Where on earth is Arizona going to go after that? I mean, where do you go? I mean, you hired arguably one of, if not the biggest names on the market at the time, and this is what you came up with. So what do you bring to the table going forward? I don't know.
So that's a good question. Is okay. You're now the athletic director for Arizona for a year. What on earth do you do to build fan support for this dead or dying program? Like what is the move here? You can hire a coach. You can even be the coach. I don't care. You choose what position you have in this athletic program, in this football program, to make it something again. What is the key, crucial, foundational thing you need to change to make this program worthwhile again?
Well, it boils down to number one above everything. You have to hire. I would take the role of athletic director, I guess, in this case, for your first start of your question, and I would hire somebody that the players are going to believe in and are going to run through a brick wall for. That's going to be step number one, because it starts there. And then you just start building around that and get where your program is, where do you want to run, and you start building your team around that program. You want to be a high profile offense and start, putting up 1,000 points. Get your players that are like that. Don't get your ground and pound players. But I think it's got to start with the coach. If their players believe in it and that they're playing their heart out, the community of Tucson rallies around that. They rally around people that are workhorses. And what it boils down to at the end of the day is wins. You just got to win games. Mm-hmm. Arizona as a state, not just U of A, are fans of winning. They're not fans of close games. They're fans of winning. We got to win games, man. That's what it boils down to. So I would hire somebody that just can completely inspire a team to win. And those are a diamond, very hard to find. They're not everywhere. So I don't know who that person is, but we just started from the ground up too, right? Like 3 years ago, we cleared house.
Mm-hmm.
And to have to redo all that again, it's a process, but at least hopefully it would be a positive one in the step forward. So
right.
I don't know what I would do as a coach, but I think as an athletic director, you got to get the right hire. That's number one. Priority number one. Got to get the right hire. And I thought we had it. And again, hindsight, I mean, is always 20/20, but how do you know? I thought we had the right hire the first time. So that was a terrible answer to a very good question.
No, that's a good answer. Weirdly, looking back, I kind of wish they had stuck with Ken Niumatalolo from Navy.
Yeah. He would have been awesome.
Arizona has got to do something off the wall to become relevant again. Like, we can't recruit at the same level as USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington and Stanford. And really, even like lower tier schools, Boise State. We're not going to get guys that want to go to Boise State or North Dakota State, for that matter. Yeah, we're not going to win the big wars in Texas. We're not going to get guys from there that could otherwise go to Texas Tech or A&M or Texas.
Right.
Like, we're going to get guys who can't go anywhere else. So you've got the option of trying to do what everyone else is doing, only do it worse, and we see the results of that on the field. Or you just do something completely off the wall. You throw like Chip Kelly style, hey, we're going to run a spread offense that no one's ever seen before. No one understands it. It's so different, and it works.
Yeah.
Like, let's run the triple option in the Pac-12. You're going to score 12 points, but if you're just doing that, you know who your guys are. Go recruit a defense and hold the other team to 11 points.
Right.
Have the most boring winning team you can.
But win games. So we kind of have a similar... We're obviously fans. We have the same result. I have a slightly different philosophy just because I like the high flyer and the go and score 1,000 points, and they scored 999, like... style of offense. Obviously neither is wrong, as long as you're scoring at least one more point than the other person. Like, that's what we're after. I like Ken out of Navy. I really like that dude. That coach has got something going over there to make Navy that desirable. as a football program, obviously, is pretty incredible. And what he's been able to do at that program is really, really cool. So maybe that is the option. Go something totally different. But I don't see you grounding and pounding it out against Stanford, right? Or, some of these other teams either. So, go out, get yourself a big arm and get yourself a super tall receiver and throw it to him every single time. That's my style of, offense, which sucks because it seems like that's what ASU has done the past 2 years, and they've, beat us.
And they just keep cranking out receiver after receiver from that school.
They just have whatever it is. They've got it figured out. Big receivers that have hands that, are hard to find. So that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see him score a touchdown in the red zone too. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I don't think get into the red zone.
I don't think we've had a touchdown in the red zone since Rob Gronkowski graced the fields of Arizona Stadium. I was in school with Rob and with that's Mr. Gronkowski.
Mr. Gronkowski was definitely his father.
he was a force, dude, on the field. He was a force. When you got on the red zone, everybody in the stadium and on the field knew he was going to get the ball, and it didn't matter. He was going to score anyways. Didn't matter. He was cool. That was cool. We need a player like that on the field.
Yep. Maybe we've got something with Grant Gunnell. Maybe he's the catalyst that launches this all, and I just don't see it yet.
Maybe. I mean, he's your different guy, right? He's not your Khalil Tate, and he's, not your Anu Solomon or even your Matt Scott's there. He's something different. So maybe he's your guy. I don't know.
Maybe this turns the tide.
I'm skeptic, but that's fine.
I think it's a 5-win season at best, but I think Grant Gunnell will play well, and maybe that'll be more competitive. Like, we'll see them put up points, because that defense is not going to stop anybody. It hasn't since Mike Stoops left.
No, they're not stopping it now. They're going to give up a bunch of points. So that's why I'm saying right now, like, until you can recruit, solid a solid defense, you're going to have to score a ton of points. If you're going to win games, you're going to have to score 40. You're going to have to, So I don't know. Maybe that's the answer.
Maybe the answer is we drop down to the Mountain West Conference.
I've heard that too. I've heard that making its rounds is we drop to the Mountain West.
Maybe if I'm the athletic director, I push us down to the Mountain West Conference. We win
football.
9 games there. Oh, yeah, in football.
You can't do it in any other sport.
We still play ASU at the end of the year for a rivalry game. That's fine.
Right.
And we'll still be just as evenly matched with them as we always are, because that game goes either way, no matter who you've got on the field. You win 9 games in that conference, you go to a decent bowl game. Couple every 4 years or so, you compete with Boise State for the top of the conference, and you maybe sneak in as a group of 5. Great. I would so rather that, where they're playing people who they can actually match up against.
Do you think you can pull in the recruits the same? I don't think so.
The recruits that they have now are probably Mountain West caliber guys.
I think that the appeal of the Pac-12 though is a little bit better than the Mountain West, right? At least you're going to get some guys. At least you have that. Like, hey, we're going to be on Pac-12 Network every once in a while. Oh, I'm going to be on TV. Oh, we're going to put you on the Mountain West Conference Network. And they're going to be like, what does any of those words mean, right? Like, at least I think it has the draw of being in a Power 5 conference. At least you're going to be able to pull, they are pulling guys. Like if I don't know, let's take Boise State out of it, but you pick any other Mountain West Conference school and you bring in a Pac-12 school.
Give me San Diego
Let's bring in
State.
San Diego State for argument's sake football. You can't seem to tell me that a guy's going to pick San Diego State over Arizona, right? Or Oregon State, or and even any of the lower tier schools. I think that you're still going to be able to have more exposure as a Pac-12 school. Hey, we're going to give you you can throw in, hey, we're going to give you this education. We're going to give you Tucson, which is, good weather. I guess not comparison to San Diego, but you're going to get to be on Pac-12 Network. We're going to play Oregon once a year. You're going to get to go play them. We're going to have at least one game, maybe on ESPN. We'll get you some exposure. We're going to have you a draft day. Like, there's at least some more selling points there. Recruits are going to come to Arizona Stadium over San Diego, or scouts, excuse me. Scouts are going to come to Arizona over San Diego, probably higher rate than in San Diego. So I don't know. I don't think that dropping down, the winner in me wants to, because I know you're going to win 9 games, but where's the longevity of it? You'd have to have you'd have to have the coach like they have in Boise or when Chris Peterson was there, or North Dakota State, what they've been able to do, and they get those recruits. So I think that's your catch-22.
Yeah, for sure. You'd lose guys you would get otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah.
The program it just feels so broken right now that you're grasping at straws to try to figure it out.
Something. Yeah, just something's got to stick.
Yeah. Brody, how's quarantine going? How many times have you watched the following films? Frozen.
Today?
Give me today and then aggregate.
Okay, I have not watched Frozen today. It's the first time in probably 10 months I have not watched Frozen. I refuse to let her watch Frozen. Like, there are certain times. Now, I've watched Cars twice. So
that's the next one on. Well, actually, Frozen 2 is the next one on the list.
No, we haven't watched any Frozen. She's not as she likes Frozen. She does, but not like Cars. Cars is on another level for us. Like,
okay,
we watch Cars all the time, constantly. So we've watched that twice.
How about Lion King?
She's off Lion King now, but we've seen it at least 1,000 times. It's got to be at least 1,000 in 19 months of my daughter being alive. We've seen the original Lion King. Let me preface that by the original Lion King at least 1,000 times. We tried the live action one. That was an epic fail. I tried Pocahontas today because I was like, oh, it's got a lot of color and it's got lights. Like the original one, that did not go over well. I tried Beauty and the Beast because it starts off singing. Like, that's going to be great. That didn't go over well. So like, are we to the parenting point of this podcast, or are we just on the?
We are. I think we're in parenting now.
We are both parents and of daughters, very young daughters at this point. And so, my question to you is: have you been working on your dad jokes? Because this is something that's very serious amongst dads. You have to start working on your dad jokes. Do you have any?
I was sent by a friend of mine, an old coworker who's not at NAU anymore, but she sent me a book of straight up dad jokes. I cannot stomach getting past the first page of this book because they're so bad.
I'm so jealous.
They're real bad jokes.
Do you have a dad joke to lead us in?
I think I've blocked all the ones from that book from my memory. But I can tell you, I remember distinctly the first time I made a dad joke, and it was embarrassing and terrible, and I felt bad about it, but it is stuck in my brain because technically
Lay it on me.
I was a dad at the time. So Posey was not yet born. We went to Oregon to see my in-laws over Thanksgiving, and on the way out there, we stopped in Yosemite, and we were looking up at El Capitan, the famous...
Yeah.
Scenic mountain, the reason people go there. And then back at the hotel, there was a sign on the fence for the pool that said something about, if you have diarrhea, don't go in this pool.
Yeah.
And it's a hotel right outside of Yosemite. And so I think I made the joke El Crapitan. And I was real discouraged with myself. It should have never even left my mouth. But there it was. My first and hopefully only dad joke, but I know that's not going to be the case.
There, you have to perfect the dad joke. There is your dad joke of the week, listeners of the podcast show. We're going to do what we can to lay it on you with a dad joke, because as a dad, it is imperative that you come up with dad jokes. So, we're talking about movies. Can we go back to that subject? We're talking about movies, and obviously Frozen's a big part of both of our lives because we have daughters, and if you know anything about daughters, they love that movie more than pretty much anything else in the world. But why does my daughter always pick up the movie Hitch we have on DVD? She looks at Will Smith and calls him Dada. Can we talk about that?
Okay, we're talking about this would have been 2005's Will Smith and King of Queens, yeah? What's his name? Kevin...
Oh, yeah, Kevin James.
Kevin James in the romantic comedy Hitch.
My daughter picks it up, and the beginning, the the cover of Hitch is just Will Smith. He's like walking, right? Like it's just him. And my daughter picks it up and every time is like, Dada? And
I'm looking at the cover for this DVD. I'm looking at it right now. There's no resemblance. You don't even wear clothes like this.
And I'm really sad because I cannot live up to that. If that's her expectations of a father, I cannot live up to the expectation of Will Smith. He is an icon of human awesomeness, and I'm me. So like, if she's expecting this is what fathers are like, where did she get this? Like, she doesn't look at any of the other films, anything. It's literally every single time, and I'm starting to become paranoid. So like, am I justified in my paranoia?
I'm fixated on this picture that they've used for this DVD cover. It's airbrushed all over the place.
Well, yeah.
Will Smith looks about as plastic as a human being can look. I can't tear my gaze away from this right now.
See, and
I'm at a loss here.
So is he the epitome of a dad? I don't know. I mean, because now, I guess, do I need plastic surgery is the point of what I'm trying to say here. Do I need that?
Has she seen the film? Does she know what the film is about?
Well, she's 19 months old, so I'm going to go with no. It doesn't have singing, lions back to, the Lion King or Frozen stuff, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. She sees a very attractive middle-aged man on the cover and assumes that's what dads look like. I'm really paranoid about this.
I think it's okay. I think what she's likely saying is, Dad, this is what you look like to me. I wish you could see you the way I see you, Dada.
I'm going to take that. I know you are lying for fact right now, but I will take that.
To be frank, I really don't want you to look anything like this DVD cover because I'm scared for his humanity at this point. Well, the guy is a demon-possessed puppet on this DVD cover.
That was 15 years ago, right? Like, we didn't have the things that we have now, right? So when did Hitch come out? I don't even know.
I want to say it was I'm going to guess 2005. 2005. Why did I know that?
You. Why do you know things?
I wish I didn't know that.
I don't know. That's pretty attractive. I'll take it. If she thinks I look like him, I'm okay with that. I will gladly take it. I'm back to happy. I'm not paranoid anymore.
Good. Then we've done our job.
We've solved one issue.
Mission accomplished. It's a weird thing to me that Sadie does this because she is the sharpest kid I've ever met, especially for that age.
Well, thank you. She's pretty smart. It's pretty wild. Like, she's already know to hold her hand flat. She knows flat. She'd be like flat. And so like, we put lotion and we put hand sanitizer on her. Flat. Like, she knows how to wash her hands. She knows like airplanes are her favorite thing of all time. Airplanes are number one above everything else. Airplane. She's not perfect. She ate dirt the other day. So we've got issues that we're working on in terms of cuisine picking, but
you got to try everything before you know what you like.
I mean, I guess. So her favorite thing, like, of all time is going outside and just sitting in a hole. People ask us, like, how do you guys handling quarantine, like, with a toddler? And I'm like, it's awesome. She just goes in our backyard and sits in a hole. That's her whole day. That's all she ever wants to do. And so, pretty easy. So, we talked about in a segment of the show of just like, let's call it, I'm going to call air quote dad victory of the day. Air quote.
Ooh,
dad victory of the day. And I'm going to put an emphasis on the air quote of dad victory of the day. So my dad victory of the day was, I was holding Sadie and she saw that we had some bananas out and she goes, Nana. And she's like really excited. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Yeah, bananas. That's a good, healthy snack. Like, all right, I'm going to win. And so like, I set her down and she's all happy and she's waiting there patiently and it's all great. And I cut it up and I peel it and she just goes, I go to hand it to her and she just screams, no, and runs off into the other room. And I'm like, what? You don't want this banana? No. And just runs off. I'm like, what the dude, I just gave you exactly what you asked for, bro. Like, make up your mind. And so I have like a peeled banana that I have to eat now, apparently, which is fine because it's healthy for you too. That was my dad victory of the day, apparently, is giving my child what she asked for. And
congratulations.
got mad at. So
well done.
Thank you. I needed that. So tell me your dad air quote victory of the day.
I get it's similarly food based. So I was feeding my daughter, or what I was attempting to feed my daughter. She was eating a peanut butter sandwich piecemeal. We've referred to feeding her sandwiches as like feeding ducks. Because we just literally rip up small pieces of bread.
You just throw it at
her until she picks out the pieces that she wants.
Okay, but she's not in the water while you're doing this, right? Just to clarify, like in the tub.
No, she's not. So we've got these squeeze bottles of like fruit medleys, vegetable medleys. She's been really good about eating them. She understands the mechanism now. Like I'll hold it up to her and she just opens her mouth and she's ready to take in some of this squeeze. Never had any problems with it before. Today she opens her mouth. She's ready for it. I put in like a good healthy dollop of the squeeze and she never closes her mouth and it just flies straight down all over the peanut butter sandwich that she's eating, all over the clothes. And she's real proud of herself at this point and just starts smashing it to emphasize the point. So lunchtime was a real, that's a good dad win there.
I give you the tip of the cap for your dad victory at this juncture of parenting. That was a good one. That's a good victory. I like that. That's a good one.
Trusting my 1-year-old child to be competitive in her own nature is real smart. Real bright.
Oh, that's good.
Brody, I think we just about covered all of it here. We've got some Arizona sports talk in there. We've got some dads and daughter talk in there. We talked at length about a psychotic meth-dealing Tiger King man. I think that's a job well done.
I think we've done it. Let's go. Hoodoo. One, down, 2, 2, 3. Heard out of it, 4 out of it, 5 out of it, 6 out of it, $7 bidder. Here out of it, 8 out of it, now 9. Here out of it, 10 out of it, 11 out of it, 12, 12. Heard out of it, 13. And out of it, 14. Heard out of it, 15 now, $16. Here out of it, 17, 18. Heard out of it, 19. And I have heard out of it, 19. Sold it. $19. Sold it. $19.
Guys, stay safe from COVID-19. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with more content hopefully soon. We'll see you then.